Hello everyone, and welcome back to another book review. Today I am going to be reviewing The Language Game by Morten H. Christiansen and Nick Chater. Chater? Right there. So these authors have a premise that language is kind of a complicated game of charades where we are communicating information back and forth. And this book is about languages and how we communicate with one another using languages. So this book covers quite a bit of different topics within language, I guess. They kind of talk about how language research used to go, some of the former beliefs, some of the former theories put out. There's a little bit about biology, so is there any, or what are the biological things that need to happen in order for us to have language, as well as studies that's been done on other animals such as chimpanzees or other non-human primates to figure out why they don't have language and why we do. They kind of discuss how language could have developed or ways that it could have developed. They discuss the different things or different aspects in language that help us communicate with one another, and they discuss the wide variety of forms that languages can take around the world. So this book was packed quite a bit of information into how short it was, and I thought it was very, very interesting. This book had a lot of what I would call little fun facts, little tidbits that I wound up sharing with a bunch of people anyone who would listen to me basically, and I really, really enjoyed it. I wound up giving this a 4-star because of how fun it was to read, and also how many little tidbits or little facts I picked up. And there was a lot of things that I was surprised to learn and yeah, just hadn't encountered before, which makes sense because a big premise of this book is that, so a question they pose in this book is, does the language you speak or the languages that you speak limit you to that worldview? And their answer is, it's not a prison because you can break out of it because you can learn another language. However, the language you speak might color the way that you view the world. In particular, colors, like I just said. It colors, the way we view or label colors is going to be dependent on the way your language that you use or the languages that you use label colors. Direction, so right and left. Some languages do not have a word for right and left, and they might use other words to position themselves in the world that are equally valid because as long as the point is being communicated, it's been successful. So as someone who doesn't speak every single one of the 7,000 languages in the world, which there's no one who speaks all the languages in the world, there are going to be some different ways of viewing the world that no one person has. So there's always going to be these different viewpoints in the world just based on the way that the language that we're using to communicate with other people. And this book had a lot of interesting facts about that. Like I was saying, they talked a lot about the studies done with color and the way that people perceive color. Very creative studies, I must say, where they were actually watching the brain to see when the brain triggered a change in color from shapes going across the screen. And when the brain triggered a color was related to when a color would be different in the person's native language or the language they spoke. And yeah, I could go on and on about all the different fun facts. They talked a little bit about the Danish language and how actually it is a rather difficult language to listen to hear because we're looking for chunks, or our brain is looking for chunks to understand. And as a language that doesn't have a lot of natural breaks, I guess. They had some cool audio pictures. Oh, don't mind the cats playing in the background. Pictures of audio to show exactly how smooth it was. So this up here is Danish being spoken, and this is Norwegian, so a related language, and see how there's fewer like segments in the Danish one. They talked about how that actually makes it more difficult, not only for speakers. Well, speakers can understand it just fine, but when they're young to learn it, it actually takes them longer because the brain is looking at this or hearing this, and it can't find the natural chunks that a speaker of Norwegian is able to hear and then kind of assign meaning and figure out what's being said from this. So there was just so many fun facts, and I thought it was really well laid out and well presented. So I would really recommend this book. Again, I gave it a 4-star. I enjoyed it, and I would love to read anything else that these authors put out. Anyways, I hope you have a great rest of your day.